With San Francisco wrapping up their third training camp practice with pads on, we saw players like Ben Bartch and Mykel Williams return to the field, with Ben Bartch stepping right into the left guard spot with the starting offense. On top of that, we continue to see players like Jordan Watkins, the rookie, dominate this camp with deep catches for Mac Jones, and he also showed off his yak ability today. So in this video, I wanted to cover each one of those players' performances, but every single position group on San Francisco's roster, starting out with the quarterbacks. For Purdy, one of my favorite parts about him as a player is how he continues to develop. Last year, for instance, we saw him adding the running element to his game as a quarterback, and this year, he's continued to refine his deep ball. Today, for instance, he was able to hit Demarcus Robinson in stride for like a 75-yard touchdown, which is really just a continuation from last practice where he was able to find Jordan Watkins deep, and on the day, Purdy was perfect. He did have a sack though, but still, he was pretty excellent. Moving into Jones now, probably my favorite play of his on the day came with him connecting deep over the middle to Jordan Watkins, who had an excellent catch, and he continues to prove that he's a solid backup option for San Francisco. On the day, for instance, he only had a few incompletions, and their third string quarterback in Tanner Mordecai was perfect. Now moving into San Francisco's running backs, probably the biggest news is Jordan James is dealing with a knee injury, so San Francisco signed the veteran Amir Abdullah, and today he did work in as a return specialist for San Francisco, so it will be interesting to see how that competition plays out. Outside of this veteran addition, San Francisco also had veteran days for CMC and Juszczyk, leaving the majority of the workload for Isaac Rindo, Corey Kiner, and their new addition. Now moving into San Francisco's wide receivers, the rookie I expect to make a day one impact is Jordan Watkins. Not only does he have the speed to unlock the deep element of San Francisco's offense, as he showed in previous practices, catching that 50-yard touchdown from Brock Purdy, today, he also showed off his hands and ability to pick up yards after the catch. Today, for instance, Jones targeted him over the middle, he was able to catch it, turn up the field, and pick up a pretty nice gain. And because he's built more like a running back, coming in right around 6 foot, weighing 200 pounds, he has the ability to break a ton of tackles, which you saw in his Ole Miss tape. So entering Kyle Shanahan's offense, I expect him to have a breakout year, especially when you consider the opportunities ahead of him. Another free agent addition I expect to make an immediate impact on the team once he does see the field is Demarcus Robinson. He continues to build his connection with Brock Purdy, for instance, with Purdy finding him deep on the left sideline today. What was maybe most impressive about this throw is how he didn't have to break his stride, and it was like a 75-yard touchdown. And routinely, when Demarcus Robinson is coming in and out of his breaks, Purdy knows exactly how to time up his throw, so it's coming out as soon as he's coming out of the break. It's not like Purdy is waiting for him to come out of his break. They're really getting on the same page like we saw with Purdy and Ayuk during Ayuk's true breakout season. It's also worth noting with Jauan Jennings still dealing with a calf injury with an unknown timeline. According to Kyle Shanahan, they signed several wide receivers in Marquise Callaway and Andy Isabella, the second round pick, who also worked in as a punt return specialist. While these signings are okay, I'm more concerned about players like Jacob Cowing and Jauan Jennings, who continue to miss time with injuries. Now though, we need to talk about San Francisco's offensive line. Today, for instance, the biggest storyline was Ben Bartch being activated off the NFI list, and today he was able to participate and immediately slid in with number ones. And for Bartch, it was a pretty up and down day, with probably his worst play coming against Alfred Collins, who was able to just walk him back into the backfield, nearly getting the sack on Mac Jones. Still though, I'm extremely excited to see Ben Bartch actually participating in San Francisco's training camp, and if he's able to remain healthy for a full year, I think he can be an extremely efficient offensive lineman in Shanahan's system. He has the ability to move and was pretty decent in pass protection last year. Outside of Bartch, it's also worth noting Spencer Burford saw time at the left tackle spot, with Trent Williams taking a veteran day off. Now though, we need to talk about San Francisco's defensive line, with the biggest story being the return of Mykel Williams. He did take a day off with an ankle injury, but today returning, once again, he looked dominant. He keeps his hands active, and I expect big things out of him. I mean, when you look at the ways Robert Saleh has been using him so far during this training camp, it's just been so creative. Sometimes he drops him off in coverage, sometimes he'll fake like dropping off into coverage before sending him on a stunt, just send him on a straight up stunt, or have him rush straight over a guard, or even sometimes he'll just be a defensive end and come off the edge that way. In this way, it makes it extremely challenging for offensive linemen to actually understand what Mykel Williams is going to do to them, and once he engages, he has deadly potential. He can walk you right back into the quarterback's lap or use his long arms to swim you. Outside of Mykel Williams, equally as important for San Francisco's defensive line is the success of their young defensive tackles, and today Alfred Collins started to put everything together, especially on the bull rush I was mentioning earlier against Ben Bartch. On this play, Collins really demonstrated the potential he had as a 6'6", 330-pound defensive lineman. He was able to get underneath Bartch's pads and walk him straight into the quarterback while extending his long arms. If he's able to just continue to refine his game and become more consistent and healthy at the NFL level, he should be able to be a really solid player. Maybe San Francisco's biggest surprise at the position though has been CJ West. Today, for instance, once again, he dominated his one-on-one matchups, and I really don't know if he straight up lost one this entire camp. When you look at West, for instance, because of his size coming in at 6'1", weighing 315 pounds, it makes it really challenging for offensive linemen to get underneath his pads. Then he explodes violently out of his stance and maintains a low pad level. I think he has the potential to be a true breakout rookie. And based on what San Francisco has right now at the defensive tackle spot and what CJ West has shown, I really wouldn't be surprised to see him starting week 1 for San Francisco. Outside of West, Bosa got a veteran day off, and Bryce Huff continues to impress with his speed and agility off the edge. But now we need to move back to San Francisco's linebacker group, with Dee Winters continuing to be one of the more impressive players. Throughout the camp, for instance, Winters has shown his ability in coverage as a run stuffer linebacker, and today he showed his ability getting into the quarterback, sacking Brock Purdy, and probably getting the fumble on the play as well. On top of that, he continues to look like one of the better linebackers in coverage, and today, once again, he delivered a couple of brutal hits. In a similar way, San Francisco's free agent addition Chad Surratt had a couple of nice stops on the day. Still though, when I'm looking at San Francisco's linebacker 2 competition right now, it's Dee Winters to lose. So far during camp, he's looked like one of the better linebackers or just better players on the field, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him put together a Pro Bowl level season. In a similar way, moving into San Francisco's secondary, Upton Stout, the rookie, seems to have grabbed onto that nickel cornerback job, with Shanahan saying after practice, not crowning him yet, but he's been doing a hell of a job. And this is really why I've been saying about Upton Stout ever since he stepped on the field for San Francisco. He's just so ahead of most rookies. I mean, he does a great job of disrupting wide receivers early on the route, and in his run defense, he shows off ideal aggression despite being a smaller nickelback, coming in at 5'8", weighing 185 pounds. I mean, he absolutely blows up all carriers. Outside of Stout, Pinnock has also solidified himself as San Francisco's true #1 safety entering the season outside of a player like Malik Mustafa, who continues to rehab. I mean, he does a great job of coming up in his run support, for instance, and delivering some brutal blows. With these positions becoming more clear who will actually start entering the season, the position that still remains uncertain to most fans is the kicker competition going on between Greg Joseph and Jake Moody, with both today going 4 for 4. Greg Joseph, though, probably was a little bit more accurate, as Jake Moody's last kick, his 54-yard kick, almost was a miss. Overall though, these are just some thoughts and observations from San Francisco's 3rd padded training camp practice, and I want to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you could like and subscribe. It truly helps out the channel a ton. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.